Galactic hunters feared no one until they met Earthlings. Part 1. First contact. Jack Summers wiped the sweat from his forehead as he piloted his transport ship through the edges of known space. The stars looked different out here on the frontier, far from Earth. His small vessel, the Wanderer, hummed softly as it carried supplies to the research outpost. After 15 years as a Marine, frontier piloting seemed like the perfect retirement gig. Peaceful, most days. Today was not most days. Proximity. Alert, the ship's computer announced. Unknown vessel approaching. Jack frowned. No one should be out here. The nearest Earth Alliance ship was at least 2 days away. Show me, he said. A holographic display flickered to life, showing a massive dark ship moving toward him. It had a strange design, jagged edges and what looked like trophy mounts along its hull. Definitely not human. Jack opened a communication channel to the research outpost. Horizon Station, this is Wanderer. I've got company out here. Unknown vessel, definitely alien. Olivia Grant, the station's xenobiologist, responded immediately. Jack, we're picking it up too. Nothing in our databases matches that design. Hold position while I notify Earth Alliance. Hold position. Look at the size of that thing. I'm not waiting around to get swallowed. Jack veered the Wanderer away, pushing the engines to maximum. The alien ship adjusted course, following him with surprising speed. Aboard the alien vessel, Warlord Krazithar watched the small ship on his viewing screen with 6 dark eyes. His leathery skin stretched into what his species considered a smile. What is it, Warlord? Asked one of his hunters. New prey, Krazithar said. His voice was deep and scratchy. Readings show primitive technology. Scan for life forms. The hunter pressed several glowing symbols. One life form, bipedal, unknown species. Krazithar stood from his command chair. Trophy skulls from 100 different species hung from his armor. Perfect. The Dreknor Hunting Legion claims this new territory. Prepare boarding claws. I want this specimen alive for study. Back on the Wanderer, Jack watched as the alien ship gained on him. He had spent years in combat situations, but never against an unknown alien species. His ship wasn't built for fighting. It was a transport vessel with minimal shields and no weapons. But Jack had carried some mining explosives for the research station. Olivia, I've got a crazy idea, he said over the comm. Jack, Earth Alliance says to avoid engagement at all costs. First contact protocols. They're hunting me, Olivia. I can feel it. No time for protocols. Jack programmed a course into the computer, then ran to the cargo hold. He grabbed the mining explosives and a spacesuit. Working quickly, he prepared the explosives and suited up. The alien ship was close now. Metal claws extended from its hull, reaching for the Wanderer. Computer, execute program Alpha on my mark, Jack said, moving to the airlock with the explosives. The claws latched onto the hull of his ship with a loud clang. Jack felt the Wanderer shudder as the aliens began cutting through the outer hull. Mark, he shouted. The ship suddenly changed direction, spinning rapidly. Jack opened the outer airlock door and pushed the explosives toward the alien ship's claws. He ducked back inside just as the mining explosives detonated. The explosion wasn't huge, but it was perfectly placed. The alien boarding claws broke apart. The Wanderer's spin carried it away from the larger ship as chunks of alien technology flew in all directions. On the alien vessel, Krazithar was thrown from his feet as the ship rocked from the explosion. Damage report, he bellowed. Boarding claws destroyed, Warlord. 3 hunters injured. Krazithar's 6 eyes narrowed. Impossible. The prey fights back? With such primitive technology? He struck the nearest console with a clawed hand. No prey has damaged a Dreknor hunting vessel in 1,000 cycles. At the research station, Olivia Grant watched the sensor readings with amazement. The small explosion had caused the alien ship to pull back. Jack, what did you do? She asked. Just a little mining trick I learned on Europa, Jack replied, breathing heavily as he removed his helmet. They didn't expect it. These aliens, whoever they are, they were hunting me. I could tell by how they moved. The alien ship is moving away, Olivia said. But they're not leaving the system. I think you just made them angry. Better angry than successful. I need to dock quickly. I don't think they're done with us. The Wanderer limped toward the research station. The small outpost wasn't built for defense, just scientific research. It housed 30 scientists and support staff on the edge of explored space. Olivia met Jack at the airlock when he docked. She was tall with short blonde hair and eyes that had seen too many strange planets. Earth Alliance is sending reinforcements, but they won't arrive for at least 3 days, she said. Jack nodded. Those aliens? Did you get any readings on them? Some. Their biology is unlike anything in our database. They appear to be apex predators based on physical characteristics. The ship contains trophies. We think they might be from other species. Hunters, Jack said grimly. Space hunters. On the alien vessel, Warlord Krasthar called his hunters together. This new species has spirit, he told them, looking at the images of the human ship and the nearby station. They are not like the others we have hunted. They fight even when outmatched. Shall we destroy them, Warlord? Asked Vexkar, his second in command. No, Krasthar said. For the first time in many cycles I am interested. Call the hunting fleet. Tell them we have found worthy prey. The Dreknor Hunting Legion will add these creatures to our collection of trophies. 3 days passed at the research station. Jack helped the scientists prepare defenses, but they had little to work with. Olivia studied the scans of the alien ship, looking for weaknesses. They're coming back, she told Jack on the 3rd morning, and they're not alone. Jack looked at the scanner. 3 large ships now approached the station. The reinforcements? He asked. Still a day out, Olivia said. We're on our own. Jack watched the alien ships draw closer. The Dreknor Hunting Legion had hunted countless species across the galaxy. They feared nothing and no one, but they had never met humans before. Jack Summers smiled grimly as he prepared for battle. These aliens were about to learn that when you hunt humans, sometimes you become the prey. Galactic hunters feared no one, until they met Earthlings Part 2. The hunt begins. The 3 alien ships hung in space like dark shadows. Jack Summers watched them from the main window of Horizon Station. The scientists behind him worked quickly, turning research equipment into makeshift weapons. They're just sitting there, Olivia Grant said, standing next to Jack. Why aren't they attacking? They're hunters, Jack replied. They're studying us, looking for weaknesses. Commander Alan Wright joined them at the window. He had arrived yesterday with a small security team. Not nearly enough to face 3 alien warships, but better than nothing. We've set up the defenses as best we can, Wright said. 6 pulse cannons made from modified research equipment. Not military grade, but they pack a punch. Jack nodded. These aliens, the Dreknor, they hunt for sport. They won't just blast us from orbit. They want the thrill of the hunt. In the communications center, Diane Rodriguez worked to decode the alien transmissions. She was young, but brilliant with languages and patterns. For 2 days, she had listened to the strange sounds coming from the alien ships. I think I've got something, she called out. The others gathered around her station. It's not a full translation, but I'm picking up repeated patterns. They keep using sounds that might mean worthy prey and great hunt, Commander Wright frowned. So we're right. They see us as animals to hunt. Animals that fight back, Jack added. That's why they're interested. We surprise them. On the lead alien ship, Warlord Krasthar prepared his hunters. Hunter Vexkar, eager to prove himself, approached his leader. The small outpost has minimal defenses, Vexkar said. Why do we wait? Let us take our trophies now. Krasthar turned his 6 eyes toward his second in command. Patience, young hunter. These creatures showed cunning. I want to see more of their skills before we move in. The hunting party is ready, Vexkar insisted. Let me lead them. I will bring you the head of their leader. Krasthar considered this. Very well. Take the first hunting party. But remember, I want some alive for study. Their skulls will make fine additions to our trophy wall. Vexkar bowed. and left to prepare his team. Back at the station, alarms suddenly blared. "Movement from the alien ships," Diane called out. "They're launching smaller vessels. Looks like boarding craft." Commander Wright activated the station's comm system. "All personnel to battle stations, this is not a drill. Civilians to the inner chambers." Jack turned to Olivia. "You should go with the other scientists." She shook her head. "Not a chance. I've been studying the scans we took of their ship after your explosion. I think I found something important." "What kind of something?" "Their biology. They have an unusual sensitivity to certain frequencies of sound. It might be a weakness we can exploit." Jack nodded. "Work fast, I don't think we have much time." 5 small alien craft approached the station. They were sleek and deadly looking, built for speed and attack. The station's makeshift pulse cannons fired, but the alien ships moved too quickly, dodging the energy blasts. "They're trying to breach at multiple points," Commander Wright said, watching the tactical display. "We don't have enough personnel to defend all areas." Jack grabbed a pulse rifle. "We funnel them where we want them. Seal off sections B through F. Make them come through the main docking areas." Across the station, security teams moved into position. The civilians huddled in the central chambers while Olivia worked frantically with the station's sound system. The first explosion rocked the station as an alien craft attached to the outer hull. Metal screeched as the Dreknor cut through. "They're coming through docking bay 2, Diane reported. Jack and Commander Wright led a team to meet them. They took cover behind supply crates as the inner door of the airlock began to glow red from cutting tools. "Remember?" Wright told his team. "Aim for center mass. We don't know their vital organs yet." The door burst open. Tall, armored figures rushed in. The Dreknor hunters stood over 7 feet tall, with leathery skin and multiple eyes. They carried long spears that glowed with energy and wore armor decorated with bones and teeth from countless species. "Open fire!" Wright shouted. The humans fired their pulse rifles. Energy blasts hit the aliens, but their armor absorbed much of the damage. 2 Dreknor fell, but the others kept coming. They moved with frightening speed, leaping over crates and swinging their energy spears. Jack rolled to avoid a spear thrust, then fired his rifle at point-blank range into an alien's face. The creature dropped. More Dreknor poured through the breach. "Fall back," Wright ordered. "Defensive position 2. The humans retreated down the corridor, firing as they went. More explosions rocked the station as the Dreknor breached other areas. Vexkar led his hunting party through the human station. He sniffed the air, catching the strange scent of this new prey. 2 humans fell before his spear, but others escaped. They were cleverer than expected, using the station's layout to their advantage. "These creatures are worthy prey indeed," he told his hunters. "Spread out. Find their leaders." In the central laboratory, Olivia worked desperately with the station's systems. She had connected the sound system to the frequency generators normally used for testing alien plant growth responses. "Jack, are you there?" she called over the comm. "Little busy right now." Jack's voice came back, punctuated by the sound of pulse rifle fire. "I need 5 more minutes to calibrate the sound system. Can you hold them?" "We'll try." "Wright is wounded. They've taken docking bay 3. We're falling back to the central hub." The fighting grew more intense as humans and Dreknor clashed throughout the station. The aliens were stronger and faster, but the humans fought with desperate innovation, using their knowledge of the station to set traps and ambushes. Vexkar lost 4 hunters but pressed on. He could smell the fear of the humans mixed with something else, determination. It made the hunt more exciting. Jack helped Commander Wright to the central hub where the remaining security team had created a last stand. Many were wounded. "How many are left out there?" Wright asked, pressing a hand to his injured side. "Maybe 15 scientists and support staff," Jack said. "If those alien bastards don't get through us, they might survive until reinforcements arrive." The doors to the central hub shuddered as the Dreknor began cutting through. Jack's comm crackled. "Jack, it's ready." Olivia's voice came through. "I'm activating the sound system now. Cover your ears." "Everyone, cover your ears," Jack shouted to the defenders. A high-pitched sound began to pulse through the station. To the humans, it was uncomfortable but bearable. For the Dreknor, it was agony. Throughout the station, the alien hunters dropped their weapons and clutched their heads. Their multiple eyes blinked rapidly in pain. Vexkar roared in agony as the sound penetrated his skull. "What is this witchcraft?" he snarled. His hunters writhed on the ground, unable to fight. "Retreat," Vexkar ordered. "Back to the ships." The Dreknor stumbled back the way they had come, desperate to escape the painful sound. Humans pursued them, firing pulse rifles at the retreating aliens. Jack watched from the central hub as the alien boarding craft detached from the station. "It worked," he said in amazement. "Olivia, you did it." But their victory was short-lived. The station system sparked and failed as overloaded circuits gave out. The sound weapon went silent. "We've lost power to sections C through G," Diane reported. "Life support is failing in those areas." From the window, Jack saw the 3 large, alien ships moving closer. "They're not done with us," he said grimly. That was just the first wave. Galactic hunters feared no one, until they met Earthlings, Part 3. Turning the tables, the Wanderer sped through space, pushing its engines beyond safe limits. Inside, Jack Summers piloted while Olivia Grant and 5 other survivors from Horizon Station watched the stars streak by. They had escaped just as the main Dreknor ships began their final attack on the research station. "Commander Wright and the others bought us time," Jack said quietly. "We need to make sure their sacrifice means something." Olivia nodded, clutching a data drive. "I saved all our research, including everything we learned about the Dreknor. Their weakness to certain sound frequencies could be the key to fighting them." "Earth Alliance needs to know what happened," said Diane Rodriguez. She had barely escaped the communication center before it was overrun. "These hunters won't stop with our station. They'll come for all human worlds." 2 days later, they reached Mars, where Earth Alliance military headquarters stood under the massive protective dome. Admiral Susan Clark met them personally when they landed. She was a stern woman with gray hair and eyes that had seen too many battles. "We received fragments of distress calls," she said, "but we need the full story." In the briefing room, Jack and the survivors told Admiral Clark everything about the Dreknor. Olivia presented her findings on their biology and the sound weakness they had discovered. "So these aliens hunt other species for sport?" Admiral Clark asked. "Yes," Jack replied. "They collect trophies, body parts from the species they hunt, and now they've decided humans are worthy prey." The Admiral turned to Keith Ortiz, the weapons engineer who had joined the briefing. He was young but brilliant, with a reputation for thinking outside normal military doctrine. "Can we use this sound weakness?" she asked him. Keith studied Olivia's data. "Yes, but we'll need more information about their ships, their technology. The effect might not work at long range or through their ship hulls." Admiral Clark stood up. "Earth has been exploring space peacefully. We weren't looking for a fight, but if these Dreknor want to hunt humans, they'll learn we can hunt back." She looked at Jack. "I need volunteers for a special mission." "I'm in," Jack said without hesitation. "Me too," Olivia added. "You need someone who understands their biology." The plan came together quickly. Earth Alliance had captured a small Dreknor scout ship during a failed raid on one of their colonies. They would use it to infiltrate Dreknor space, gather intelligence, and return with the information needed to defend Earth. Keith worked with Olivia to create portable sound weapons based on her research. They looked like small silver discs that could emit the painful frequencies that affected the Dreknor. "These are prototypes," Keith explained as he handed them to Jack's team. "Short range, but they should incapacitate any Dreknor within 20 feet. Meanwhile, in distant space, the Dreknor Elder Council gathered. 12 ancient hunters, their bodies covered in battle scars and trophies from countless hunts, sat in a circle. Warlord Krazathar stood before them, reporting on the new species his legion had encountered. "These humans fight unlike any prey we have hunted," he told the elders. "They are physically weaker than us, but they use clever tactics. They found a weakness in our hearing and used it against us." One of the elders leaned forward. "You lost hunters to this primitive species. Perhaps you are not worthy to lead the legion," Krasthar growled. "I lost hunters because these humans are worthy prey. They deserve respect as opponents. Another elder spoke. If they are as you say, perhaps they qualify for the Great Game. A murmur went through the council. The Great Game was a rare designation, given only to species that provided exceptional hunting challenges. It meant committing significant resources to the hunt, bringing glory to those who claimed trophies from such worthy prey. I propose we declare the Great Game, Krasthar said. Let all hunting legions know of these humans. Let the greatest hunters test themselves against this new prey. The elders voted. The Great Game was declared. Throughout Dreknor space, hunting vessels began preparing for the greatest hunt in generations. Back on Mars, Jack's team prepared to leave on their mission. 8 volunteers, a mix of soldiers and scientists, would fly the captured Dreknor scout ship into enemy territory. They had spent weeks learning how to operate the alien vessel and studying Dreknor culture from the limited information they had. Admiral Clark addressed them before they left. This mission is strictly intelligence gathering. Avoid contact with the enemy if possible. We need to know their numbers, their homeworld location, and their technology. Earth's survival may depend on what you learn. Jack nodded. We'll find out what we need to know. Then we'll make these hunters regret ever finding Earth. The captured scout ship left Mars under cover of darkness. It was a strange vessel, all sharp angles and trophy mounts now emptied of their grisly displays. Jack found the controls alien but manageable. The ship moved faster than any human vessel, cutting through space like a predator. After 5 days of travel, they entered Dreknor space. Strange ships passed them but didn't stop the scout vessel. The team maintained radio silence using the Dreknor identification signals they had studied. I'm picking up a lot of communication traffic, Diane said, monitoring the alien frequencies.
Something big is happening. They followed the communications to a massive space station shaped like a circular hunting lodge.
Hundreds of Dreknor ships docked there. We need to get closer, Jack said. Find out what they're planning. They docked at the station, using the automated systems to avoid speaking with any Dreknor. The team split into pairs. Jack and Olivia would try to access the central data systems. The others would gather what intelligence they could from different parts of the station. Jack and Olivia moved carefully through the alien corridors, using air ducts where possible to avoid being seen. They wore cloaks taken from the scout ship to hide their human features. Look at this, Olivia whispered as they passed a giant hall. Hundreds of Dreknor hunters had gathered. At the center stood Warlord Krasthar, addressing the crowd. Behind him was a holographic image of Earth. The Great Game has begun, Krasthar announced. These humans have proven themselves worthy prey. Their world will provide the greatest hunting ground our people have known in 1,000 cycles. Glory and honor to those who bring back human trophies. The hunters roared in approval, raising their weapons. Jack felt cold anger building inside him. They're planning a full invasion, not just raids. They want to turn Earth into their hunting preserve. Olivia pointed to a side room. Data terminals, we need to get in there. They slipped into the room while the hunters were distracted by Krasthar's speech. Olivia connected her devices to the alien computer system, downloading everything she could. This is incredible, she whispered as data flowed into her storage device. Their entire hunting network, ship deployments, homeworld coordinates. It's all here. Suddenly alarms blared throughout the station. A Dreknor voice echoed over the communication system. Human intruders detected, find them. Glory to the hunter who claims the first human trophies of the Great Game. Jack grabbed Olivia's arm. Time to go, now. They ran for the docking bay, using the sound weapons to incapacitate the few Dreknor who stood in their way. The other team members were already returning to the ship. Did you get what we needed? Jack asked as they all piled into the scout ship. Diane nodded. Their entire battle plan. They're sending an armada to Earth, hundreds of ships. Jack started the engines as Dreknor hunters rushed into the docking bay. Then we better get this information home. It's time humans became the hunters. The scout ship blasted away from the station, racing back toward Earth. Behind them, the Dreknor hunting fleet prepared for what they thought would be their greatest triumph. They didn't realize they were heading into a trap. Galactic hunters feared no one. until they met Earthlings Part 4. The Great Game. The asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter held a secret. Hidden among the rocks and ice, 50 Earth Alliance ships waited in silence. Their engines were cold, their signals dampened. They were invisible to all but the most careful observer. Captain Pete Daniels stood on the bridge of the battleship Defiance, the largest vessel in the human fleet. He was a veteran of the Mars conflicts, with 20 years of service. Now he faced an enemy unlike any humans had fought before. "Status report," he said to his bridge crew. "All ships in position, Captain," his first officer replied. "Stealth systems functioning normally. The Dreknor won't see us until it's too late." Captain Daniels nodded. The plan was simple but risky. Jack Summers and his team had returned with valuable information about the Dreknor invasion force. Now, Earth Alliance would use that knowledge to set a trap. In another part of the fleet, Sergeant Lisa Bennett prepared her Marine boarding teams. 40 soldiers checked their weapons and armor. The new sound weapons had been improved and mass-produced. Each Marine carried 2 of the silver discs on their belts. "Remember your training," Lisa told her teams. "These aliens are stronger and faster than us. Use the sound weapons first, then hit them hard before they can recover." Back on the Defiance, Jack and Olivia joined Captain Daniels on the bridge. They had been key in planning this ambush based on their first-hand experience with the Dreknor. "The scout ships report the Dreknor fleet has entered the solar system," Olivia said. 87 hunting vessels, just as their battle plans showed. Jack looked at the tactical display. "They're following the exact course we predicted. Their arrogance is their weakness. They think they're coming to hunt us, not the other way. Around." Aboard the Dreknor command ship, High Hunter Drakzul prepared for glory. He was a legendary warrior who had claimed trophies from the most dangerous species in 3 galactic sectors. The humans would be his greatest hunt yet. "Report from the forward scouts," his second told him. "The human home system appears lightly defended. Their main fleet must be elsewhere." Drakzul grunted. "As expected. These humans show courage but lack wisdom. They do not understand the honor we grant them with the Great Game." The Dreknor fleet moved deeper into the asteroid belt, following the coordinates from their intelligence. A human colony was supposedly hidden here, a perfect first target for their invasion. "Sir," one of the Dreknor hunters called out, "we're detecting small vessels ahead." Drakzul moved to the viewing screen. 5 human ships flew in a loose formation, seemingly unaware of the approaching hunting fleet. "The first prey arrives," Drakzul said with satisfaction. "Pursue them. Let the Great Game begin." The 5 human ships suddenly broke formation, speeding deeper into the asteroid belt. The Dreknor fleet followed, eager for the hunt. On the bridge of the Defiance, Captain Daniels watched as Jack piloted one of the decoy ships. The plan was working perfectly. "They've taken the bait," Olivia said. "All Dreknor vessels are pursuing the decoys into the ambush zone." Captain Daniels turned to his communications officer. "Signal all ships. Prepare to attack on my mark." Buck, Dreknor fleet pursued the human vessels through the asteroid field. Their superior ships easily kept pace, weaving between the space rocks with predatory grace. "Why do they flee?" Drakzul wondered aloud. "This is not the resistance we expected." His tactical officer started to respond but stopped suddenly. "Sir, I'm detecting energy signatures all around us. They weren't there a moment ago." "It's a trap," Drakzul realized too late. Captain Daniels gave the order. "All ships, power up and attack." Throughout the asteroid field, the hidden Earth fleet came to life. Ships emerged from behind asteroids, engines flaring to full power. The trap was sprung. The human fleet opened fire from all directions. The Dreknor ships, caught in the open, took heavy damage in the first volley. "Battle stations," Drakzul ordered. "Return fire. Show these humans the might of the Dreknor." The space around the asteroids lit up with weapons fire. Dreknor ships, though surprised, recovered quickly and began fighting back. Their weapons were powerful, cutting through the armor of several human vessels. Aboard the Defiance, Captain Daniels gripped his command chair as the ship shuddered from a direct hit. Damage report. Hull breach on deck 6. Force fields holding. An officer. Called back. The captain turned to his weapons officer. Target their command ship. All batteries fire. The Defiance's main guns launched a barrage at the largest Dreknor vessel. Explosions rippled across its hull, but the alien ship remained operational. In the midst of the battle, Jack led his small team of decoy ships in strafing runs against the Dreknor fleet. His time piloting the captured scout ship had taught him the weaknesses in Dreknor design. Aim for their engine cooling vents, he instructed the other pilots. 3 o'clock position near their stern. The human ships concentrated fire on those points, causing several Dreknor vessels to lose power and drift helplessly. Meanwhile, Sergeant Lisa Bennett and her Marine teams launched boarding operations. Using small, fast assault craft, they attached to damaged Dreknor ships and cut their way inside. Lisa led the first team into a large hunting vessel. The moment they breached the hull, she activated the sound weapons. The high-pitched frequencies filled the alien corridors. Dreknor hunters fell to their knees, clutching their heads in pain. Move in. Secure the engine room, Lisa ordered. The Marines pushed forward, using the advantage provided by the sound weapons. The Dreknor, normally fearsome warriors, could not fight effectively through the debilitating pain. The battle raged for hours. Despite their initial advantage, the humans suffered heavy losses. 15 Earth ships had been destroyed or disabled. The Dreknor lost more but fought with incredible ferocity. On the command deck of his ship, Drak-Zul watched the battle with growing rage and, something new to him, respect. These humans fought with cunning and courage. They had turned the hunters into the hunted. A massive explosion rocked his ship. Warning alarms blared throughout the vessel. Main power failing, his tactical officer reported. The humans have boarded 3 lower decks. Drak-Zul grabbed his ceremonial spear. I will deal with them myself. He stormed through the corridors of his ship, rallying hunters as he went. They found the humans in the main engine room planting explosive devices. For the glory of the hunt, Drak-Zul roared, leading the charge. Sergeant Bennett activated her last sound weapon, but Drak-Zul pushed through the pain. He knocked 2 Marines aside with powerful sweeps of his spear. Lisa fired her rifle, but Drak-Zul's armor deflected the shots. He closed in on her, spear raised for a killing blow. Suddenly, Jack Summers appeared from a side passage. He had boarded the command ship to help the Marine teams. He fired directly at Drak-Zul's face, causing the alien to stumble back. Get your team out, Jack told Lisa. The charges are set. This ship is done for. Lisa nodded and ordered her remaining Marines to retreat. Jack faced Drak-Zul alone. You fight well, human, the High Hunter said, circling Jack. Your skull will be my greatest trophy. Jack kept his weapon trained on the alien. Sorry to disappoint you, but I'm not planning to die today. They clashed in the engine room of the dying ship. Drak-Zul was stronger, but Jack was quicker. The human dodged the alien's spear thrusts, looking for an opening. The ship rocked with another explosion. They both lost their footing. Jack recovered first and fired at the ceiling above Drak-Zul. Metal supports crashed down, pinning the alien. Hunter. Jack stood over the trapped Dreknor leader, weapon aimed at his head. Drak-Zul waited for the killing blow, as was proper for the defeated. Instead, Jack lowered his weapon. I'm not like you. I don't collect trophies. He turned and ran for the escape pods, leaving the confused alien behind. As Jack's pod launched from the dying ship, he saw the battle was turning decisively in Earth's favor. The remaining Dreknor vessels were retreating, something the proud hunters rarely did. The great game had begun with humans as prey. It was ending with humans as victors. Galactic hunters feared no one until they met Earthlings at HFY. 5. A New Order. 3 months had passed since the great battle in the asteroid belt. The space station Unity Point floated in neutral territory, a place where different species could meet safely. Today, it hosted the most unlikely peace talks in galactic history. Ambassador Greg Winters adjusted his formal uniform as he prepared to meet the Dreknor delegation. He had been a diplomat for 20 years, but nothing had prepared Him for negotiating with aliens who had recently tried to hunt humans for sport. "Are you ready, Ambassador?" asked Council Representative Maria Santos. She represented Earth Alliance's political leadership at these talks. Greg nodded. "As ready as one can be to meet with predators who wanted our skulls as trophies." The doors to the conference chamber opened. The human delegation entered, taking seats on one side of a large round table. Jack Summers and Olivia Grant were also present, their first-hand knowledge of the Dreknor considered essential for these talks. Doors on the opposite side opened. 6 Dreknor entered, their tall forms imposing even without their battle armor. They wore formal robes decorated with symbols of their hunting lodges, but notably absent were the usual trophy displays. At their head walked a Dreknor that Jack recognized immediately. High Hunter Drak Zul, the commander he had faced and spared during the battle. A jagged scar now ran across the alien's face where debris had struck him. The Dreknor took their seats across from the humans. For a moment, silence filled the chamber. Ambassador Winters spoke first. "On behalf of Earth Alliance, I welcome the representatives of the Dreknor hunting legions to these historic talks." Drak Zul responded in a deep, gravelly voice. The translators converted his words to English. "The Dreknor acknowledge this meeting. It is unprecedented in our history to negotiate rather than hunt." Jack studied the alien leader carefully. Something had changed in him since their encounter. The arrogance was less pronounced, replaced by something like curiosity. "Let us be direct," Maria Santos said. 3 months ago, your people launched an invasion of our space with the intent to hunt humans. We defended ourselves successfully. Why should we trust you now?" Drak Zul's multiple eyes blinked slowly. "The great game ended in a way no Dreknor could have predicted. You defeated us not just with weapons, but with something we did not understand." He looked directly at Jack. "Mercy. A hunter had me at his mercy and chose not to take my life." Jack met the alien's gaze steadily. "Humans don't hunt for sport or collect trophies. We fought to protect ourselves, not for glory." Olivia spoke up. "In studying your biology and culture, we found something interesting. The earliest records of Dreknor history show your species evolved as protectors of your ecosystem, not just predators. Your hunting behaviors became ritualized over time." Drak Zul seemed surprised. "You studied our history?" "We wanted to understand you," Olivia explained. "Understanding is how humans approach the unknown." The talks continued for hours. The humans proposed a new relationship. Instead of hunting sentient species, the Dreknor could use their skills to protect endangered creatures throughout the galaxy and fight genuine threats to galactic peace. As the main session ended, smaller groups formed for more detailed discussions. Jack found himself standing near Drak Zul at the viewing window. Stars shone brilliantly against the blackness of space. "Why did you spare me?" Drak Zul asked suddenly. "In your position, any Dreknor would have claimed the trophy." Jack considered his answer carefully. "Humans have been predators too in our history. We've hunted animals, even each other in wars. But we've learned there's more strength in building than destroying. More honor in showing mercy than taking trophies." Drak Zul was silent for a long moment. "This concept of mercy, it is alien to us, yet I cannot deny its power. After you spared me, I questioned everything I had been taught about the glory of the hunt." Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden commotion. A group of Dreknor burst into the conference hall, weapons drawn. Unlike the delegation, these hunters wore full battle armor covered in trophies. "Traitor," one of them shouted at Drak Zul. "You would dishonor the ancient ways by talking with prey." The leader of these traditional hunters aimed his weapon at the human delegation. Security teams from both sides reached for their weapons, but before anyone could fire, Drak Zul moved with lightning speed. He placed himself between the hunters and the humans. "Lower your weapons," he commanded. "These humans are not prey. They have earned respect." The lead hunter snarled. "You have grown weak, Drak Zul. The Elder Council was right to send us. The hunt must continue." Jack stepped forward, standing beside Drakzul. Your people tried hunting us once. It didn't end well for you. The traditional hunters hesitated, seeing the former enemies standing together. It was something none of them had witnessed before. The old ways are dying, Drakzul told them. I have seen another path. The humans fight fiercely, but they also show wisdom. They offer us purpose beyond endless hunting. What followed was not a battle but a debate, a concept foreign to Dreknor culture. Drakzul spoke of what he had learned, of how humans had defeated them not just through strength but through innovation and cooperation. Gradually, the tension eased. The traditional hunters lowered their weapons, not fully convinced but willing to listen. It was the beginning of a profound change in Dreknor society. 2 weeks later, the peace treaty was signed. The Dreknor would end their hunts of sentient species. In exchange, humans would help them find new purpose as protectors. Joint missions would target genuine threats to galactic peace. As the ceremony concluded, Ambassador Winters addressed both delegations. Today marks a historic shift in relations between our peoples. From enemies to allies, from predator and prey to partners. Maria Santos added, the first joint human Dreknor protection team will deploy next month to assist endangered species. In the Cygnus sector, Jack and Olivia were assigned as the human liaisons to work with the Dreknor. Their experience with the aliens made them ideal for this unprecedented role. 1 month later, Jack found himself sitting around a campfire on a distant world. Across from him sat Drakzul, now leader of the reformed Dreknor Protection Force. They had just completed their first successful mission together, saving a rare creature from extinction. Tell me, Jack Summers, Drakzul said as the fire crackled between them. Do you think our peoples can truly move beyond our history? Can hunters become protectors? Jack looked up at the unfamiliar stars. Humans have a saying, the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. But we also believe people and species can change when they choose to. Drakzul was silent for a moment. Then he did something no human had seen before. He removed one of his ceremonial hunting blades and placed it in the fire. The metal slowly melted. The Dreknor feared no one, he said, watching the blade dissolve, until we met Earthlings. But now I see that the greater fear was what we might have remained without you. Perhaps both our species needed this meeting. As the old weapon melted away, both the human and the former hunter gazed up at the stars, contemplating not what they might hunt, but what they might protect together. News of this alliance spread throughout the galaxy. The species that had defeated, the hunters had also transformed them. It was a story that would be told for generations of how fear became respect and enemies became allies. And across the stars, other species watched and wondered at these Earthlings who had accomplished what none had thought possible, turning the most feared hunters in the galaxy into protectors of life.